Hello everyone, you're watching NewsTrack with me, Marya, Shakil. Pakistan and the world finally has an answer. The former Prime Minister of Pakistan is alive, Imran Khan is safe, but he is also being subjected to what his family calls mental torture. Imran Khan's sister Uzma was allowed to meet him for the first time inside Adiala Jail today. She says he is being kept confined to his cell almost the entire day and is denied any communication with the outside world. She also said that her brother had blamed General Asim Munir for his current situation. Is Imran Khan's imprisonment an act of Munir's revenge? And just how possible is his freedom? And joining me first on the show is Ajay Bisaria, who is a former Indian diplomat who served as India's High Commissioner to Pakistan from 2017 to 2020. High Commissioner Bisaria, really appreciate your time. You wrote in your article, sir, that Pakistan's military consolidation leaves little room for Pakistan's anti-military politicians. With Imran Khan's sister visiting him in jail, do you see this act as a hopeful sign for political family support, or does it further highlight the limitations faced by those outside military favor?
Well, I see this as a sign of a lot of confusion in Pakistan. And certainly for Asim Munir, who's the de facto ruler of Pakistan, he sees two sources of problems. One, of course, is Imran Khan, which is a continuing problem, but he knows how to solve that problem. He can, use the jackboot on the PTI supporters and quell any street movement. But what we've seen over the past few days in this whole thing about the rumors about Imran Khan's death, him not being seen in public, it may have something to do with the larger story of Asim Munir, which is his promotion. And I think what he's seeing is not just a pushback from Imran Khan and the PTI, but possibly also a bit of a small pushback from the Sharif brothers, because his order for him to take over his new post of Chief of Defense Forces was supposed to be signed on the 27th of November, but that was not done because Shahbaz Sharif was absconding. He had gone to Bahrain, then gone without reason to London, and there seems to be some reluctance on the part of the Shahbaz Sharif and his brother, more particularly Nawaz, in signing that order, giving a carte blanche to the army to do a constitutional coup. So I think the two events may be linked. This could well be a diversion on the Imran Khan front to raise the suspense and to suddenly say he's alive, in order to distract from that larger story of the civilians being reluctant to sign the order, which gives Asim Munir a fresh 5-year term as Chief of Defense Forces from the 27th of November.
You make an important point here, sir, and I'm referring to your article again because the timing of your article is also rather interesting here, High Commissioner Bisaria. You say that democratic institutions in Pakistan were devastated and faith in electoral civilian politics eroded. So after this visit, do you believe such personal gestures have any power to revive public hope in civilian democracy, or are they symbolic amidst military dominance?
No, I don't think there's any hope for any kind of civilian resurgence. Certainly, what the army had to do was to bow to some kind of public opinion and agitation at a time that faces multiple other crises: an economic crisis, a crisis in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and the western border, and with Afghanistan. So it didn't want another crisis in the shape of the PTI showing some kind of resurgence. So I don't think that the army sees as a big problem. The bigger problem Asim Munir might have is the reluctance of the Shahbaz brothers, who have of the Sharif brothers, who have no love lost for Imran Khan, being reluctant to give him that power that he seeks. So that is the more worrying thing from his point of view. I think the army will prevail as it eventually does, but what Asim Munir faces is a lot of dissent and disagreement within his own army about because he's after all taking over sweeping powers in a constitutional coup and also on the streets. So both these pushbacks against his authority are things that would be worrying him at this point.
So, what is the future of Imran Khan in Pakistan?
Well, I think the Imran Khan will be given a deal as he has been given an offer of a deal at multiple points. He would be told that if he remains silent or relatively silent and doesn't and stops a street agitation, they would let him out from prison. What the army is doing, from what his sisters are saying, is trying to mentally break him in order to soften him, to so that there was a rumor that he would be allowed to go to his home in Banigala and be in house arrest there in relatively greater comfort. There was even talk of him being allowed to go off to the UK in exile on the condition that, like Nawaz Sharif did earlier, he won't speak out against the army and do that. And Imran Khan is not agreeing to those conditions. So I don't think it serves the army to eliminate him at this point of time. That could lead to a big street movement, but they would be toying with the idea of giving him some deal so that this headache gets out of their system. But remember, the junior partners of the army in this current coalition government of sorts in Pakistan are the Sharif brothers. And they would also be reluctant in giving a deal to Imran Khan where he can potentially move out and be critical of the current dispensation.
You've spoken about the entire South Asian stability. The fact is that Asim Munir has sweeping powers. Uh, and with Imran Khan in jail and what's playing out right now in Pakistan, does it really modify perception of military rule in Pakistan? Or has the risk, as you describe in your article, increased in South Asia?
I would argue that the risk has increased because a very unstable Asim Munir on the back foot from both these challenges that we talked about, from Imran Khan and from the current civilian government, in challenging his authority or not giving him the constitutional coup he wants, makes it more tempting for Asim Munir to attempt what he did this summer, because a short conflict with India he feels is manageable, and a short conflict with India suddenly quells domestic criticism and empowers him and reduces the domestic challenge also within the army. So there is the danger, and I think a perverse incentive for Asim Munir to try some terrorism, because that gives him a short little war, which he feels he can manage and sell as a victory to the people, and then quell all criticism saying that we have a huge problem with India. The country should be uniting and rallying around the flag. And I think that is a danger of an unstable army chief in Pakistan.
Okay, before I let you go, because the entire talk around Imran Khan's well-being starts from Afghanistan media. And if you speak to anyone, there is this sense that they were fishing in troubled waters. How do you read the timing in particular? Because you say that that is linked to the elevation of General Asim Munir to the larger role, perhaps bigger than that of the President of Pakistan.
Well, I think there can be only speculation. There can be conspiracy theories on this. Stuff happens, things leak out. It could have been a story put out by the PTI using Afghan sources. It could well be a diversionary tactic managed by the army itself, because it may want to just build a story around this, build the suspense around it, and suddenly say, no, no, he's really alive and this is all fake news, in order to distract from the woes that they are facing in terms of not getting the order for Asim Munir to be the chief of defense forces for 5 years. So I think it could be any of that. It'll only be speculation. But, this is not new in Pakistan. The rumors of Imran Khan's death had circulated earlier. And, and what we must remember is that Pakistan has a terrible history in the way, in terms of treating its former prime ministers, because in the same Adiala jail where Imran Khan is, Bhutto was hanged by Ziaul Haq in 1978, and Benazir Bhutto was killed without any explanation. So all former prime ministers end up either in exile or show up dead. And this is something that would worry Pakistanis and PTI supporters. It's hard to say who started the rumor and why, but there could be many, many folks who would have an interest in doing that.
All right. Really appreciate your time. Ajay Bisaria, India's High Commissioner to Pakistan. Thank you for your time here on India Today. Let me bring in other guests now. Ejaz Ahmed is a senior journalist. He joins me from Islamabad. We have Michael Kugelman, senior fellow of Asia Pacific Foundation, joining me from Washington, D.C. Michael, the concern is about Imran Khan's well-being. Now his sister, Uzma, says that Imran feels he is being mentally tortured. Why is it that the world is just waiting and not doing anything about what the former Prime Minister of Pakistan is going through?
Well, yeah, thanks for having me. Unfortunately, as I think was noted before, political prisoners in Pakistan tend to not be treated very well, including and especially former leaders, former prime ministers like Khan. And if it's true that his family were not allowed to meet with him or have access to him for several weeks, that is simply not right. In terms of the world's reaction. Um, you know, I think that we have to be very honest here, right? There's a lot going on in the world right now, and I would argue that the fact that you have a political prisoner, even a prominent one, who has a very strong global profile like Imran Khan, the fact that that's not getting a lot of attention right now globally, it's not really a surprise, just because unfortunately there are a lot of people that are in a similar case to Imran Khan. There are a lot of former leaders that are being imprisoned, likely for political reasons. And I would argue that, speaking to the reactions in Western capitals, including Washington, I don't think that Imran Khan is necessarily one that would inspire a tremendous amount of sympathy, given the positions that he has taken, whether we're talking about his apparent celebrating of the Taliban coming back to power a few years ago, or his very harsh critique of U.S. policies in Afghanistan, including his threats to shoot down American drones and things like that. So he's not a Navalny figure, if you know what I mean, in the eyes of those in Washington and elsewhere. So that might be one reason why he's not getting there's not an outcry from governments in Western capitals. Though certainly there has been a reaction. You've seen all the media coverage. Human rights activists, civil society have certainly been responding and advocating on his behalf. But in terms of how governments would react, it's just a bit of a different story, particularly given how he is perceived in terms of his views. I do not think he is anti-West or anti-US or anything like that, but his policies, I think,
Yes, when he was
have
in
caused a
office at
reaction.
that time. Ejaz Ahmed, with his sister having met Imran in Adiala jail, but also communicating that he is being mentally tortured, what is it that, how is this being seen in Pakistan?
Look, first of all, thank you for having me. This situation is not as it is being bringing to the people of Pakistan. Every political party has its own way to talk about, has its own way to portray a picture, and they have every right. Imran Khan is a former prime minister, so as per the rules, jail manual, he cannot be kept with the other, prisoners. So this is one compulsion. Secondly, Imran Khan is a sportsman. He needs some exercise machines, so he has been provided. He need a cook. He has been provided. He needs some doctors. Because of his issues of the health also, but also some for some other reasons. Therefore, he's being kept in a cell that was built for 90 prisoners. So he's there by his own choice. Yes, it is correct that he's not being allowed to meet his family or his friends for a few months. Yesterday, there was a conversation between the Speaker of the National Assembly and Barrister Gohar, who is the current chairman of PTI. And then we got news that tomorrow maybe a meeting will be allowed. And
We'll try and connect with Ejaz
when I
again.
checked, yeah,
Yes.
yes, I'm here. So when I heard this, I followed a number of people in PTI. They said that the government has condition for meetings. Government says the jail manual doesn't allow political meetings or political talk after the meeting. So this was the reason for the government. PTI says it is their right to meet Imran Khan and say whatever they want to after they meet
Just
Imran.
enough time for
So
Michael again. Michael, your final thoughts, you know, the manner in which the story did generate a lot of interest about the health for almost like 72 hours. We did not know how is Imran Khan. The only statement that came from Adiala Jail perhaps created more confusion because his family was not being allowed access to him. And now after his sister has met him, do you think it actually settles this story, or are you of the opinion that it finally opens that door for what is going to be a possible solution with Imran Khan's release or some kind of understanding between PTI and the government of the day in Pakistan?
Well, I think that it will end what had been emerging as a crisis in the sense that the Pakistani state wants no attention to be given to Khan. It doesn't want media attention to be given to him. It doesn't want noise to be made about him. But that was exactly what was happening because of concerns about his well-being. So that has been ended in the sense that his sister met with him. So clearly, all the speculation in previous days that were clearly false, that he was not alive, possibly, that's clearly been made the case that that's not true. But I would argue this very briefly that the Pakistani state has a strong interest in ensuring that Khan remains safe and healthy in jail just because of the internal stability risks if something were to happen to him. So even if his sister claims that he said that he's suffering from mental torture, again, political prisoners are not treated well in Pakistan, and that is not good. But I think that type of thing might, if it continues, that ensures that his large support base will continue to be very concerned and will try to make noise. But I think the biggest concern that his support base has now been addressed in the sense that his sister was allowed to meet with him. She was able to see that he's doing okay. And that, I think, will appease the base, at least for now.
All right, Michael Kugelman and Ejaz Ahmed, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, with that, it's a wrap from me. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. But a reminder, viewers, as we count down to Vladimir Putin's India visit, India today is in Russia for the biggest build-up on the India-Russia power play. So do watch out for all the live events and coverage.
A defiant Vladimir Putin and a defiant Narendra Modi ahead of Vladimir Putin's visit to India. The India Today team is in Moscow for the biggest voice ever. This is an unstoppable relationship between India and Russia, and India Today will bring you all the latest news breaks and exclusive. Keep watching India Today.